Hi friends, if you're following this series, it's all about people who inspire you. Another makeup YouTuber that I'm inspired by is Wayne Goss. We're gonna go over one of his makeup tutorials from 2014, and it's the acne foundation routine for flawless skin.
This is quite a glamorous tutorial, but I also wanted to show you that a lot of times people complain that models that we use oftentimes have really flawless skin. They just look no different when the makeup's applied. Now, Emma, as you can see here, has some skin redness and some blemishes going on. And I'm going to show you how to cover them and how I would cover them. Whether you're covering blemishes or redness or acne, the principle is always the same. And I want to demonstrate this so that you can see it. I'm applying a foundation that matches Emma's skin tone, and I'm applying this.
Okay, Wayne Goss just gets right into it. That's his style. I'm gonna go get a sponge. Be right back.
All over her face. All the products are in the description bar below with links, so you can click them if you wish. Now, the thing to think about when dealing with any kind of skin issues is that you want to create the most flawless coverage possible, but you don't want to cake it on, which is why I'm going to use a liquid foundation, because they tend to be more sheer than cream foundations. As I'm applying this, you can see it's blending into the skin and it's taking away that excess redness. And Emma has really good skin, but what kind of happens is she has a lot of histamine in her skin, which sometimes means that when you get a spot, they can become very red and create a glow around them, which gives the illusion there's more there than there really is. And a lot of people have this. It's kind of a little bit like hives on some people, but I think it's good to kind of see that not everybody, I don't have flawless skin and a lot of people don't. So I'm blending this in with a Beauty Blender sponge, and this is shade 1. What I tend to like to do with foundations is when there's a lot of excess redness in the skin or blemishes, I like to go over the outside perimeter of the face with a different tone of foundation, one that is a shade darker, because a darker foundation can really help to take away the appearance of any redness or blemishes, which is what I want to do here. So you can just see it's only a shade darker, and it's...
He works really fast, so I'm just gonna do that real quick. I don't have a darker liquid foundation, but I do have a darker powder foundation, so I think I'm just gonna use that to create some sort of dimension on my face like what he's doing with the model, but he's using liquid.
Just around the outside perimeter, and when it's blended in, it will just look naturally like it's giving dimension to the skin. A lot of what I do is always about contouring and highlighting, regardless of how I'm doing it. And I think that it's a very important technique, and one that can look incredibly natural. We're never trying to carve out a cheekbone or really change the features of the face. We're just adding dimension, which is what this is about. And the Beauty Blender, again, one of the best tools ever invented. It's just a delight to use. So you can see that the blemishes that were there are gone, or they're vastly improved. And now I'm just going to go over a tiny little bit on the neck to take care of any excess redness that may be there. So that the whole thing... I know a lot of you complain about the fact that my models are talking. I like to talk to my models. What can I say? So I'm going to put concealer now down the center of the face, as you can see, because this is where I want to add light, and underneath the eyes. It's a wonderful way of adding real light to the skin, and it's just one of my favorite techniques. And
hold up, this looks a lot lighter, so I'm going to actually switch to something lighter. This is not light enough. I forget that Wayne Goss really loves contouring, highlighting. He does it so much in his videos, and he's so good at it. That's one of the reasons why I liked him so much, is because that's the first time I was ever exposed to any sort of contouring and highlighting.
This is the areas that are going to come forward. Anything we contour recedes away from us, and anything we highlight comes at us. So this is what I'm doing with this aspect. I'm creating light in the center of the face.
Does that look kind of like how he did it? I don't know. Sort of. He's a makeup artist, I'm not, so...
Leaving the outside perimeter slightly darker, and it also happens to be that's where any excess redness or blemishes is. So that's all blended in. Pretty good, and the skin is looking flawless. This tutorial is it's a very kind of date night look. It's a little bit sexy, a little bit delicious, an everyday smoky eye. A tiny bit of powder is being lightly dusted on the skin with my fan brush. I'm being very careful with this. I don't want to disrupt any foundation or concealer, so I don't want to have to re-go over any areas that are problematic. Very lightly filling in the brows, barely anything because Emma's are beautiful and full and very...
I usually use a powder puff, but he's using a brush, so we'll use a brush. I like to use makeup wipes to wipe up all of the makeup on my hand because I don't like having excess stuff there. And if you cut it in half, boom, you get two. This is something I learned from my best friend, Caroline Lee. You can follow her. I will share a link up above of her channel. I learned that tip from her.
The eyebrows complete, it will be time to move on. Never overdo the eyebrows unless you really, really love the look. Tiny bit of foundation is...
Never ever overdo the eyebrows. I think that's super funny because later on his videos, he rants about the whole Instagram brow stuff and he's not having it, right? Oh gosh. Those videos are super funny. If I find them, then I'll link them up above.
Being applied to the eyelids, and I'm going to dust those over with a small amount of powder. Always make sure there's no creasing before you set. So we're going to start with our first shade from the palette. So I want to prime the eyelids, so I'm going to start by applying a wash of colour from the lash line all the way up to the brow bone. You can use a matte shade if you prefer. Just sweeping it up. I don't know if you heard that. That was an email coming in. Excuse me.
It looks like a sort of sparkly color, so I'm going to try to do a light pink sparkly color, right? Probably something more like that, I would say. This is a little too white. This one's too white. But this one maybe is closer to what he's using.
So blend, blend, blend. Obviously I'm using brushes that are from my line. Information in the description bar. So I'm applying a tiny amount of...
He's so funny. I'm using one of his brushes, but I really do love his brushes. My favorite brush of his is #1, the foundation brush. This little guy right here. This is amazing for people with acne because it really, and scars, because it really fills in those holes that you have on your face that I have on mine. Really good for that. One of my favorite brushes of all time.
And I'm exposing the crease further by allowing my thumb to pull up the eyebrow slightly. This is going to add the dimension I want right in the crease. It's a very sexy, slightly naughty, little bit festive, smoky eye. I think what's so great about my brushes, and I would say this, but they're just so soft that I never irritate the eyes or it never irritates the client, which is always a wonderful thing. Blending that back and forth to soften any edges. I'm going to go in with a deeper shade of grey just on the outside perimeter.
I never use gray. This is totally outside of my comfort zone, so we're just going to try this out and hope for the best.
But first, I'm going to go underneath the eye. And this is kind of important because I want the whole thing to connect up. So I'm going underneath the eye with the same colour. Now I'm going in with a deeper shade just on the outside V of the eye, as you can see here, just that outside corner. And I'm kind of leaving a lot of the center light because I think it makes the eyes look bigger and it's just I think it's a more modern take on a smoky eye. So I'm just going to contour very...
He mentioned that he liked to keep the center of the lids light, so that's why I just kind of put some lighter eyeshadow in the middle because I wasn't liking how it was looking. I think that he put pencil eyeliner on her, so I'm going to just use pencil.
Very lightly down the sides of the nose and just across the tip. There's nothing really needed here, but I just wanted to do it. A tiny bit of blusher is being applied to the cheekbone area. And this is a really pretty pink shade because I'm going to go with this really neutral pink lip. And as you can see, I'm drawing on this line onto Emma's lips and it matches perfectly. So this would be one of the most perfect nude shades for Emma's skin tone and lip tone. So fill that in completely as best you can. Then you're going to go over with a lipstick that matches the lip liner. Very important. So that is a gorgeous, gorgeous lip. We're going to finish this off with a gorgeous amount of lip gloss to really give it that sexy come hither pout. I think as well, it just really kind of finishes the look off because you've got this grey smoky eye but with this really innocent pink lip, which I just think looks glorious. And there you have it. So this will pretty much complete the tutorial, and you'll see a before and after so you can see the power of makeup. Thank you for watching.
Y'all, so I really tried my best to get my eyes to look like that, but man, I cannot get my eyes to look like that. Mainly because my eyes don't look like that. I have a different eye shape, so I have to take that into account too. Something that I really love about Wayne Goss is that he always stays true to who he is, and even though the makeup community is constantly changing and transforming throughout the years, he's always stayed true to himself because makeup is his passion. It really is. You can tell. His channel is relatively small in comparison to a lot of the bigger makeup YouTubers that have over like 15 million. He's got 3 million, and I think he definitely deserves way more because he's been in the business for so long. But I just think that he doesn't put out videos to be viral. He doesn't put out videos to get more attention. He's very true to himself and his own opinions. He doesn't like trends or fads, and I really like that he is true to who he is and continues to do what he believes in. And a lot of it is just a lot of old school techniques, and I personally love learning about the makeup industry through that sort of lens. That's it for this video. If you like this series, then let me know by hitting that like button. You can check out these videos here on the side. Next week I'll be doing a video on Bub's Beauty, so if you don't want to miss out on that one, then hit that red subscribe button down below. As always, stay beautiful and God bless.
I just wanna be